Are you looking for the best gaming keyboards? In this video we will look at some of the 9 best keyboards on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. SteelSeries Apex Pro Gen 3. SteelSeries gaming keyboards managed to consistently impress me over the years, especially with the Apex lineup. In 2024, SteelSeries refreshed its Apex Pro for a third generation that consists of full-sized and tankless models, including a wireless version. When I reviewed the Apex Pro TKL Gen 3, I was hard-pressed to find an aspect I would change about it. From the OmniPoint 3.0 switches to the OLED control panel, it has exactly what I'm looking for in a gaming keyboard. Regardless of the model you go with, the SteelSeries Apex Pro isn't a flashy keyboard, but its sleek, simple design is complemented with keycaps that have a bold font type and tasteful RGB that shines through. The real star is the Hall effect switches. These aren't just smooth and buttery to type on, each keystroke feels consistent and satisfying. And because they're Hall effect, you can set a custom actuation point between 0.1 mm to 4.0 mm for any key. Being able to have an extra short actuation point in competitive shooters is advantageous, and setting it back to normal for work and typing gives it a versatility that very few keyboards offer. Additionally, features like rapid tap, rapid trigger, and protection mode can improve performance, though their usefulness may vary depending on what you play, and be wary of rapid tap being banned in certain games. The OLED panel is great, though, and being able to control things like media, RGB lighting, actuation points, macros, and information displayed is nice along with swapping custom profiles. The battery life is manageable, topping off at 45 hours under ideal conditions, but keyboards are one peripheral where I can work with limited battery life. From nearly every angle, the Gen 3 SteelSeries Apex Pro is the keyboard I've been looking for, and it's probably going to take the perfect keyboard to get me off of it. At number 2. Razer BlackWidow V4 Pro. Razer has several gaming keyboards in its lineup and it can be hard to distinguish one from another. Don't get me wrong, the Ornata and Huntsman series are great in their own right, but it's the flagship BlackWidow V4 Pro that takes the top spot for me. What the Dead Hatter is to mice, the BlackWidow is for keyboards. Several iterations have led to a top performer that is easy to recommend because of its build quality, mechanical switches, and additional features. While it may not have that sweet OLED screen with the command dial as seen in its tankless counterpart, the full-sized V4 Pro has a handy programmable dial on top of a column of macro keys. It also has a full set of media controls on the top right corner. All of it is customizable to a sharp degree through the Synapse software, giving it a unique type of versatility that's great for productivity. Razer has also evolved with its own roster of mechanical switches, and the tactile oranges, clicky greens, and linear yellows are some of the best out there. These are all top performers and have a slightly shorter actuation point for quick, clean, and consistent keystrokes. You can also access a higher polling rate up to 8000 Hz, and while it may not be that crucial compared to mice, it is one way Razer covers all aspects of performance. It's the little things and the years of iteration that have led to it being above the competition, as expressed in our Razer BlackWidow V4 Pro review, and many other keyboard makers, with the exception of SteelSeries, may want to play catch-up. At number 3. Redragon K582 Surara. If you pull up Redragon's website or just search for one of its keyboards on Amazon, you'll get flooded with tons of different models, and sussing out which one won't fail you is challenging. With it being a more budget-focused brand, Redragon may seem like one of the many knockoffs out there, but having used the K582 Surara in a pinch as a cost-effective alternative to the typical prominent brands we tend to focus on, I came away impressed. One of the biggest concerns I had when picking up a Redragon is durability. It uses off-brand mechanical switches and has an annoyingly flashy aesthetic, so I admittedly had some hesitation. But throughout my time using the K582, I rarely gave it much thought that I wasn't using a big brand keyboard. The professional red switches performed as I would expect a Cherry MX Red, smooth and buttery linear actuation and consistent performance. This particular model is a full-sized keyboard, but if the K582 is any indication, Redragon's budget-level TKLs and mini models may fill the void if you want to try those layouts instead. The Redragon K582 Surara has a listed price of $44.99, which is already super cheap for a mechanical keyboard, but it typically goes on sale for around $36, and that's almost unheard of when it comes to gaming keyboards. Of all the budget brands out there, I can at least say I had a good experience with Redragon. At number 4. MonsGeek Fun 60 Ultra TMR. Compact 60% keyboards may not be for everyone. Not only do these chop off the number pad like a tankless, but they nix the center column and function row as well, relegating these controls to key combos. Even if they may not be the best for productivity, these keyboards are so cute. The super small footprint is an attractive prospect, saving desk space and cutting out any potentially unnecessary controls. So if you're into this particular design, I give a high recommendation to the MonsGeek Fun 60 Ultra TMR. Not only does this keyboard go for cheaper than most boutique keyboards, it also sports the rare TMR switch type. Tunneling magneto-resistance is tough to find, and it's a different style of magnetic switch from Hall effect, but it's effectively the same in terms of functionality. Magnetic switches are gaining ground in the gaming spaces because of its reliability and customization, and the Fun 60 Ultra TMR also sports features like adjustable actuation points, which can be effective in competitive gaming. Although I don't necessarily think a 8000Hz polling rate is super helpful when it comes to keyboards, the Fun 60 Ultra does have it, and if anything, it helps give you peace of mind that you have the best response time possible. There are inherent limitations to going with a compact 60% layout, but our review of the Fun 60 Ultra TMR will tell all about why it's a fantastic gaming keyboard. At number 5. Logitech G Pro X TKL Rapid. I've been a big fan of Logitech's keyboards through the years. The G413 was a longtime favorite because of its sleek design, low-key Logitech G branding, and buttery smooth and fast keystrokes. That keyboard has more or less evolved into the Logitech G Pro X TKL Rapid, which sports a better trim, updated magnetic switches, and the latest Lightspeed wireless tech for top performance. The finer details help the G Pro X TKL Rapid stand out from the wave of other 75% sized keyboards out there. The brushed aluminum top has a nice and unique look to it, and the exposed keycap design lets the RGB flourish in a tasteful way. And while other TKLs may sacrifice onboard controls to save space, the G Pro X TKL Rapid keeps those kinds of features without getting too bulky. The volume wheel, media controls, and mode toggles are easy to access on the top row of the keyboard, which I find convenient for everyday use. Its keycaps are a bit different than most, sporting a slick finish as opposed to the rougher matte style of other keyboards on this list. Paired with Logitech's debut into magnetic switches, keystrokes on the G Pro X TKL Rapid are satisfying and responsive, and the customizability that comes with magnetic switches sets a new standard. While other keyboards may have the new hotness of OLED screens and high polling rates, the G Pro X TKL Rapid does everything it sets out to do, and does it extremely well. That makes it one of the best tankless keyboards and very easy to recommend, which we say as much in our Logitech G Pro X TKL Rapid review. At number 6. Keychron K4 HE. These days, I get a lot of tankless keyboards for review and have a soft spot for those mini 60% layouts. But when I need a full-sized functionality, I really like the 96% layout, which keeps all the keys but crunches things into a smaller board so there's no wasted space. These are tough to find, which is why I loved the original Keychron K4 for a while, but it got even better with a Hall effect refresh. With the Keychron K4 HE, I was immediately impressed with the Keychron Nebula switches since they're firm, more so than most magnetic switches. It performed as expected in both competitive gaming and is my everyday workhorse, which is to say it held up admirably, especially since you can shorten the actuation point through its web-based configurator. It's also built on a minimalist frame, so it's slim and actually doesn't take up a whole lot more desk space than the typical tankless keyboard. Keychron's keyboards tend to be no frills and focus on the essentials, but its color schemes add a bit of personality, like the cream and wood grain version, and the Bluetooth wireless connectivity gives it some extra versatility to boot. The crammed nature of 96% layout takes a bit of getting used to. If you want to use the center column functions, you need to swap modes, which, while easy to do, is just a quirk you need to account for. So if you need that number pad in full functionality while saving a bit of desk space, I cannot recommend the Keychron K4 HE enough. You get great magnetic switches at an affordable price, which is why I scored it a smooth 9 in my Keychron K4 HE review. At number 7. Corsair K100 RGB. The Corsair K100 RGB was reviewed by IGN's team, and it takes a full-sized keyboard to the extreme. Its brushed aluminum plate is beautiful, letting the RGB flood underneath the exposed keycaps. The Marco key column on the left gives you much more control if you need, and the various media controls and programmable buttons and knobs on the top bar give a premium and look and feel. It strikes a nice balance of flashy and functional as to not be gaudy, but still carry an expensive looking vibe. And I do like the RGB strips along the side of the board itself. I mean, if you're going to be extravagant, go ahead and embrace it. At $250 for a wired keyboard, you're still getting your money's worth, especially if you get the K100 with Corsair's proprietary OPX optical switches. You can still opt for the mechanical Cherry MX speed switches, which are superb, but optical switches have a unique and satisfying feel to them. It uses light to register inputs instead of physical mechanisms, but either way, it's built on a solid frame that gives you firm and consistent keystrokes. Customizing the macro keys and extra buttons is fairly straightforward, even if Corsair's software is a bit of a pain to navigate, but once you have it all set, the K100 is one of the rare full-size plus keyboards I can get behind. To top it all off, it offers 8000 Hz polling rate, which as I've said before is overkill for keyboards, but hey, if you want the absolute most from your keyboard, it makes sense that the Corsair K100 offers it. At number 8. Logitech G515 TKL. While my top recommendation for a compact keyboard is the MonsGeek Fun 60 Ultra TMR, those looking for the best low-profile keyboard should consider the Logitech G515 TKL. It sports a super slim profile yet has a certain density to give it a weight and durability at the same time. The ultra-thin keycaps have a nice texture for added tactility on the fingertip, but they also help maintain a sleek look and small footprint. And Logitech's updated mechanical switches have a shorter actuation point, 1.3 mm, to complement the low-profile ethos. In my review of the Logitech G515 TKL, I praised its performance being on par with some of the best gaming keyboards out there while packing all of that into an aesthetically pleasing design. You don't necessarily get the layers of foam and gaskets to provide the satisfying thock or bouncy keystroke feeling you get from other keyboards, but that's the trade-off you make for this style of board. The top bar where you find mode toggles feels like a missed opportunity since it doesn't include media controls or any additional features that could have gone the extra mile, but that's the only thing I knock against it. When it comes down to pure performance and embodying the design of low-profile gaming keyboard, the Logitech G515 TKL is a top choice. At number 9. Pulsar Xboard QS. Pulsar is a brand better known for custom keyboard parts, so when I saw it put out its first standalone keyboard with the Xboard QS, I was intrigued. It's more of an enthusiast-level product, a tinkerer's keyboard, given its unique feature set and physical customizability. But I loved it even out of the box, and that's a credit to its build quality, unique aesthetic, and incredible stock switches. Starting with the mechanical switches, the Kalebox Icemint 2 are linears with a normal actuation point of 2.0 mm but a light actuation force of 38 G, which makes it very easy on the fingers. Because the board itself is built with several layers of foam and frames, keystrokes are firm and responsive as well. Typing all day and gaming all night was made easier by design. I also just loved the pristine white and black color scheme along with the slight retro-futuristic aesthetic. The programmable volume knob is a nice touch as well, letting you control the RGB lighting, too. There isn't any first-party software for this Xboard QS, though, so customizing it is a bit of a challenge since you have to use QMK tools, which takes some learning. Physical customization is easier, though, since you can easily take out the mechanical switches or access the innards if you want. Despite its hefty $300 price tag and wired limitation, I sang the praises of the Pulsar Xboard QS when I reviewed it. So, if you're willing to ball out on a wired keyboard and want something that's unique, built to last, and amazing to use, I give top marks to the Xboard QS.